mines and agriculture. Okay, you'll be talking on business ideas. He'll be talking on business ideas that will thrive in 2019 and beyond, and SMEs funding opportunities. It is important for me to read his citation so that you will know the wealth of experience that he has. So follow me. Ambassador Ayola Olukani is the newly appointed Director General of the Nigerian Association of Chambers of Commerce, Industry, Mines and Agriculture. Graduated from the University of Ife, now OAU, in 1979 with a first degree in BSc, with a first degree in social science. He joined the Nigerian Diplomatic Service in July 1980 after his National Youth Service in Jos Plateau State. His first diplomatic posting was from 1982 to 1983, was to the Nigerian Embassy, Brussels, Belgium, which also serves as the Nigerian mission to the European Union In 1984, he returned to school for postgraduate studies in international law and graduated with postgraduate diploma in international law from the University of Lagos. Between 1896 and April 1989, he served in the permanent mission of Nigeria to the United Nations, New York, covering amongst others the work of the 2nd, 3rd, 4th, and 6th committees of the United Nations, as well as the Security Council. He was thus involved in the work of the United Nations, spanning economic and financial matters, South-South cooperation, technical cooperation among developing countries, TCDC, social, cultural and humanitarian and legal affairs, as well as peace and conflict resolution and United Nations peacekeeping operations. He returned to Nigeria in 1989 and, in line with his insatiable quest for knowledge, enrolled for another postgraduate studies at the University of Lagos. He graduated from University of Lagos in 1991 with Masters of International Law and Diplomacy with focus on international environmental law. Between 1999 and 1994, he worked at the Bilateral Economic Cooperation Division at the headquarters, the Mission of Foreign Affairs, and was in Tel Aviv, Israel from 1994 to 1998, where he functioned as Counselor Political, Cultural, and Information, following closely the implementation of the Oslo Peace Accord. He also served in the embassy as Pilgrim's Liaison Officer. In January 2000, he returned to the permanent mission to the United Nations in New York to strengthen the mission when Nigeria was unanimously elected as the chairman of the New York chapter of the Group of 77 and China. During the period, he was closely involved in the United Nations Millennium Summit and the negotiations of the United Nations Millennium Development Goals, as well as the meetings of the first ever South Summit, which was held in Havana, Cuba, from 10th to 4th April 2000, and where the Havana Program of Action of the G77 and China was adopted. From 2003 to 2007, Ambassador Olukani was in Nairobi and served as Acting High Commissioner to Kenya with concurrent accreditation to Seychelles and AG Permanent Representative to the United Nations Environment Programme and the United Nations Human Settlement Programme. On his return to Nigeria in April 2007, he was appointed Director of Public Communications and spokesperson of the Ministry of Foreign Affairs. In August 2010, he moved to the Embassy Permanent Mission of Nigeria to the United Nations in Vienna to serve as Charge d'Affaires and Acting Permanent Representative to the International Atomic Energy Agency. His other duties include overseeing Nigeria's interest in following organizations based in Vienna, OPEC, the Cooperative Comprehensive Test Ban Treaty Organization, United Nations International Development Organization, United Nations Office on Drugs and Crime, United Nations Committee on Peaceful Uses of Outer Space, United Nations Office on International Trade Law. He was appointed ambassador in February 2011 while serving in Vienna and posted to Canberra, Australia. From July 2011 to March 2015, he was Nigeria's High Commissioner to Australia with concurrent accreditation to New Zealand, Fiji, Papua New Guinea, and Pacific island of Vanuatu. He returned home from Australia in mid-March 2015 to retire from the Foreign Service on attainment of age 60. He is married to Mrs. Oluyemisi Olukani, and they have 3 daughters and a grandson. He is a passionate environmentalist and currently serves as the vice chairman of an environment NGO Fight Against Desert Encroachment. He is also on the board of Advanced Media and Communication Academy and an avid golfer. He is a cultural enthusiast who loves poetry and theater and is engaged in the creative industry for transformative development. Ladies and gentlemen, please, where's the photographer? We won't go anywhere. Where is he now? So before you leave, we need to take a picture. No, I don't want video, I want a picture. Alright, ladies and gentlemen, it is my singular honor, my profound pleasure to introduce to you the ambassador, Dr. Ayola. Sorry. Ambassador Ayola.
Honestly speaking, I wish if I know that my uncle was going to read all these things, I would just say, please let us just leave the leaders for whiskey bottles and just let us get it done. I just simply say that honestly, I was a civil servant in the Nigerian Foreign Service who rose to the position of director and also had the privilege of being appointed as ambassador. Finished. I think that would be just an ordinary civil servant. I don't think there was any spectacular thing, in terms of, when you read those long things, you think there was no, really. We were just serving country, honestly speaking. And let me just say thank you once again to my and thank you. I want to say thank you to my fellow speakers and others. Honestly speaking, when I saw the 205 ideas book, the question I was asking myself is, which do they find here now? What are you doing in this place? Especially at an event like this that is meant to concretize the abstractions. And when Dr. Rotimi was speaking, I got very excited, and that this is what we should be hearing. These are the things to give meaning, really, and let's especially our people to know what can be done. And the question which Mayok also addressed, the issues and the question of poverty and employment, especially in a country like ours that is huge, huge potentials. But I'm very happy at this event like this. You can count on me, honestly speaking, in terms of the next set of things you need to do. So I will leave my paper, but I'll not speak to it because time is fast spent. I'm very happy at the practical dimension of it, the BOI and all that. But I now work as Director General in NASIMA, There is Nigerian Association of Chambers of Commerce, Industry, Mines and Agriculture. After 25 years in the foreign service, running around the world, all over the place, and it gives you an idea, one, how big the potentials of your country, and then you ask yourself, why are we not, there? I mean, this is I have an outline here in terms of introduction. I'll speak to it. The first one we talked about the business potentials. I don't know if we wait too much time about that in terms of the question of the volume, in terms of the population. Each time you have a product, as DG Nasima and I see some of our members say all they are just looking for is just to capture Ageki. They don't want to go beyond that. And they are multi-millionaires producing soap, it tells you in terms of the business potential, of our country. And then, of course, the issue of business and entrepreneurship, of course, which also talk about in terms of in the change world. We live in a different world altogether, honestly speaking. Let us accept that, and that's why I'm very happy with what Dr. Ruth said in terms of you need a plan. You need a plan if you want to be able to access it. And that's one of the things we do in Nasima. And to help in terms of the question of entrepreneurship. Because like I said, nobody is quarreling and fighting for grammar in people's head. How can we concretize it? How can we give skills to our people? How can we make you succeed? And especially the question of entrepreneurship is key and very important. When I left Ife 79. I'm an old man, you can see, 64 very soon. All the hair is gone. Then it was a glorious era for Nigeria. You graduate in June, Almighty June in Ife. In February of that year, or March, you see notice of the board from the student affairs. Come and collect forms. Oyo State Civil Service, Chevron, Oil Company, Union Bank, Afribank, all of them, the oil company. Then we go and collect the forms. You collect the form, you fill the form, and then they now ask you, get ready for interview. They come to the campus for us to interview us. I was the interview for the job of the foreign service. I even forgot it. I refused to even go. So that means we get jobs before you go out. When you finish your youth service, the names are out in the paper. So that was then. That was what it used to be. May those days come back. Because the number of CVs I get as DG Nasima every day, every time, phone calls, it is amazing. But the point I'm making is that those then, it was an age of entitlement. We thought we were entitled to the job. So they come to interview you, but now, this is not the venue for discussion of what happened, but the existential reality is that the jobs are no longer there. People are jobless, unemployment is real, and then that's why we're now trying to also encourage, apart from paid employment, entrepreneurship and development, things like that. So that is one of the areas, that's one of the key issues which we want to talk about in terms of what exactly is happening. Let me have the second slide so that I can go on to the areas in terms of the business potential. The woman from the BO, Arias, of course, also spoken about it. My paper will also speak about the question of entrepreneurship. But the reality is that all of us, including me, and all, especially our young people, the business environment today is changed. Dr. Agutu was speaking about the question of biosafety. My last post was Australia, because this is key and very important so that you can connect what he's saying. And it has one of the toughest biosafety laws in the world. You cannot take your apple from Sydney to Perth, Western Australia, if you're traveling. When you bought the last approach, the person or the hostess comes on, please, we are now approaching Western Australia. Western Australia does not allow mangoes, fruit, oranges from Eastern Australia. Please consume and eat. If not, the cabin staff are passing to drop them inside, because the issue of biosafety is key and very important. Because by the time your plane lands in Perth and you are taking your luggage, you know those small little dogs that are going around your luggages, and God save you if they sit down near your luggage and wait their luggage, and the handler will just pat it on the head. They will say, "Madam, please, can we see your bag?" It happened to me as ambassador coming from New Zealand. I forgot the fruit inside my bag. I was tired, very early in the morning. And then by the time I got there, the dog sat and said, "You know, typical Nigerian, the way she not be saying this is not my portion." I said, "Look, that they did not send me from home." They don't say, "Welcome, Your Excellency, please can we?" And then they brought out the from which I came from. Great. The point I'm making about this is that whatever business you're going into today, the question of environmental sustainability and the issue of biosafety is very important. The biosafety agency in Nigeria is also, and that's why the question was on. So, but the point I'm making, not to waste too much time in that, is that definitely let us recognize that we're in a different environment altogether. And also, the question of the use of the IT, telephones and whatever you have, the ICT revolution, the GSM innovation and changing business environment. You know, before the GSM came, we didn't have 1 million phones in Nigeria. How many telephone lines do we have in all? The largest concentration was in Lagos. How many phone lines did we have in Ibadan? Telephone lines. Who can remember? You know, you see those old men with ladder, they are fixing one line, because your line, when you call my sister's line, is ringing in my own's line. Long story short, GSM came in, and then of course, fast forward the ICT revolution. So you are living in a different environment. It is necessary for us to, recognize that. Let me quickly just go on and see a few things. Skills for today, in terms of succeeding. Critical thinking. Critical thinking is embedded in what he said. How do I work on it? Critical thinking is very important. If you want to, maybe you can even project this, or should I do this? Okay, critical thinking. We're talking about complex problem solving ability, creativity, innovation, science, technology, STEM, SME, people and customer management skills, versatility. Can you go on as well? These are the areas, these are the new things you must develop in terms of being able to. Questions are being asked about the agricultural value chain, poultry business, itself. These are things which you need to handle, you need to also apply. Then, of course, we're talking about business ideas that will also try. Let me speak also the question of a few areas. I deliberately put the United Nations Global Marketplace in that place. Please, those of you who have your phone, if you have it, you can check UNGM. The UNGM stands for the United Nations Global Marketplace. UNGM. It is a $17 billion market. What does it mean? That product and services for the United Nations. That is what the UN spend. All the organizations and everybody. So if you look at it, you will discover that it provides you an opportunity to do something with the UN. So do business with the UN. And sometimes people say, is it possible? You don't know it. If you find out about it, then like Bayako said in his last presentation, is it possible? Then you can do it. Recently we were in New York, Nasima, and I sat 2 times in the permission in New York. Nigeria happens to be one of the TCC, 2 contributing countries. And like I said, $17 billion US. How much business do we do? How many of us in here know you can do business with the UN? Please put your hands up. How many of us know? How many? That we can do business with the United Nations. What I mean is United Nations and its agencies. You have UNICEF in Ibadan, isn't it? You have UNICEF offices in Ibadan. You have UNDP. You have WHO. You have all of these buy products they also offer service. So you can serve as a consultant, or you can. So all you need to do is go on to the UNGF Global portal, and then you